What's up, everybody? Now You See Me, Now You Don't hit theaters this weekend. I did a recap for the franchise, the first two movies earlier this week if you want to check that out, but let's dive into the third movie of the trilogy. I want to get my review started diving into the story, and I guess I should say there will be spoilers in here too, so you've been warned. I thought it was a decent story overall. It wasn't as good as the first movie, but it was better than the second. The thing is, the whole Robin Hood act, it's getting a bit repetitive. It's their thing, I get that, but it's just on top of that, the interesting heist, or maybe the more interesting heist, in my opinion, happens off screen in the movie before the events. The Russia thing that made it so Mark Ruffalo didn't have to be in the entire movie. On top of that, they did the secret family member thing with the villain again, not making it a villain duo this time, but still, it just feels like they're stuck to one type of story. Always a little Robin Hood act, always gotta have a deep family secret in there somewhere that is kinda, decently predictable in the movie too, and it's frustrating here because they had an opportunity to be fresh. In fact, the first 15 minutes or so are incredibly promising, despite a terrible cameo from Andrew Santino. I don't know what the hell the Whiskey Ginger was thinking taking this role, but it started so strong because of the three newcomers and how they're introduced impersonating the Horsemen for their own magic heist gigs. Then getting back to the repetitive nature of the franchise, there was one thing in this movie that's been great in all three of them, and I'm okay with them making it a trend. That's how blunt they are with both the comedy and the commentary when they go meta. Everything from Isla Fisher's return, and of course Lizzie Kaplan's introduction in the second movie after Isla was unavailable for it because she was having a baby, to the AI stuff in this one. Hollywood is really rallying against that this weekend with both this movie and The Running Man. Finally, while I enjoyed the last heist, it was another thing that they just ran back from the second movie specifically. Fake location, trick the villain. Don't get me wrong, it's still fun here, but with three new young, bright minds, I thought there'd be a new grand finale for the Horsemen. But that was great compared to anything that they try setting up in the final scene, or yeah, I guess it was kind of a post-credit scene, a credit scene of sorts. The franchise, it's been going downhill since that first movie. Three is plenty of entries for this one. With that being said, I want to shift to the cast where the OG4 were great. You can give him less screen time, but Woody's always going to dominate. He's been the best part of all three movies, in my opinion. Then Jesse was, well, he was Jesse, and that's what you want to see when Danny Atlas is on your screen. But from my perspective, it was great for him to have Isla Fisher back at his side with Atlas and Henley, and their chemistry, it was back immediately. The same could be said for Dave Franco and Lizzie Kaplan, who I honestly did not think would be back with Isla Fisher back, but it was certainly a welcome surprise to have both of them. The crazy old lady bit was also, in my opinion, the best bit that they've let Lizzie do in her two appearances in the franchise. It was nice to see her doing more than just pulling birds out of her clothes. Then Dominic Sessa and Ariana Greenblatt joined the Horsemen as two of the newcomers, and they truly gave Woody a run for his money here for that MVP. They were phenomenal additions to this franchise. Honestly, they might be the only thing giving any potential hope to more movies in this franchise. So, if they do make more, they've got to be there. But boy, oh boy, well, actually, first I want to acknowledge the great, the powerful Morgan Freeman in his portion of the movie. Legend, enough said. But holy shit, every time Rosamund Pike opened her mouth, I wanted to rip my ears off. Whoever made the decision for that character to be the way she ended up being, I don't even know what to say. That was a top five worst character of all time. I don't need to go on about that though, just one of the most annoying things I've ever witnessed. But let's move on to the tricks the horsemen pull in this movie. Starting with the newbies, I thought it was nice seeing them kind of, pay their respects by pulling some of the classic tricks right off the bat in the bar, and they combined that into their own thing with the whole possession bit. That was actually one of the better ones in this movie. A couple of other ones that were up there too are the door puzzle, and part of that being so good is the clashing of generations with Dave Franco and Ariana Greenblatt. In fact, those two, they got a couple of really great tricks in this movie. They were also, a big part of the set piece. I'm not sure if they actually built this room. It would be damn cool if they did, but it was a room where, one side you're tiny and the other side you're huge, like a slanted floor type of thing. I really hope they built that set. I'd love to see the behind the scenes for all of that. But then, the Sand Trap was actually decently cool. Some of their finale was solid. It was kind of fun, even though it was, just a worse version of the second movie's finale. But man, did I hate Thaddeus's last trick. Just let the man retire. Anyways, before I wrap things up, I want to touch on the soundtrack and the score. They were good, both roll with the movie perfectly, but I'd be lying if I said, either one of them was memorable. Like, there were no songs from the score or the soundtrack that I had to throw on when I got back to my car after the movie, but at the end of the day, all that really matters is that it fit the movie and it amplified it when it had to. Overall, it was still a fun movie. I'll never not have fun with Woody Harrelson on the screen having fun, but I gotta be honest, I'm kind of done with this franchise. As I said when I was talking about the cast, I'm semi open to more of the three newcomers, but I'm also not a huge Justice Smith guy. I haven't really enjoyed him in anything he's been in, so I don't know about that part, and I don't want to see, some weird hybrid of the old generation and the youngsters for the OG Horsemen. The time has come to hang it up. And so that's going to do it for my review of Now You See Me, Now You Don't. I've got it as a 6 out of 10, and it's kind of in the middle of the pack for this year's movies, but I want to know what you guys thought about the movie, so let me know down in the comments below and make sure you have a great day.